Welcome to the Shine.
Hello.
Oh, we got applause. We got Coach Lento in here.
This is awesome.
With the new look, our bird's eye look. We changed it up a little bit. Got new chairs.
Got a new setup. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm hitting things. Yes, I got to get it figured out because I talk with my hands. So
Yeah, you're gonna.
I know it's different with the table. I got my notes here.
Your notes that
if I
you
need
use
notes.
diligently.
I know.
every
I don't know. I
single
have
week.
notes. I don't
I
really
don't know
need notes.
either.
It looks good. It looks professional.
Yes.
It makes me look like I know what I'm doing.
You do know what you're doing, but you never use notes
I
for
don't
anything in life. So
I don't use notes, but I'm gonna be getting my tea here shortly. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna. I should have had a table right here. Dang it.
all right, next week will be different.
Anyways, yeah. So, wow, it's great to have Coach Lento here, and we're gonna
I
go through the
know.
whole story. We might as well just.
This
get
is
right.
awesome.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be, it could be a long one, so you might as well get in.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm gonna try not to talk too much.
Because we're kind of hit what we did. We usually kind of recap the week, so we're kind of hit. That kind of goes into everything.
We'll do that at the end because that's kind of chronologically brings us right to the end.
right to where we're at.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
So welcome. I love it. I love seeing you in blue
Yeah,
Oh.
with the Calvert Senecas.
different shade of blue. So we're in that royal. Is that your gray popsicle? Is that your gray popsicle?
Oh, that's my great pops. Did she bring me? Oh, yeah, she did. Oh, Devin's got to get up out of it. He can't. He's like he can't. He can just put his hand in there so he can't see it. Yeah.
He's like the Oz.
Yeah.
He's like Oz, but he's like on Tim the Tool Man. What show is that?
Oh,
I don't know.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Home
Yeah,
Improvement.
Wilson.
The Wilson in the
Wilson.
fence.
Yeah. We don't see him.
This is my favorite one. He's drinking the same thing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite tea?
It's a great popsicle, so good. Anyways, let's go back to the beginning. So, I knew you
beginning.
because I was
The beginning of when you met Mike?
Well, I knew Lento from. He went to our competing school, the St. Joe's Streaks, about a half hour away. I went to Tiffin Calvert. That's always been a huge rival. And you graduated what year?
2004.
So yeah, we were the team doc.
Yeah. So we were back in town. You were back in town
Back
by
in
now.
town.
You were practicing. You were
I was a team doc for football.
Yeah,
I think at that
for
time
foot-
too. Yeah,
I think so.
I'm about 90% sure. So watch him play against Calvert. You know, he lost 3 years, won one.
Correct.
How many? I just didn't say it right.
Three.
Oh,
We lost three. And
But
won
broke
one.
a streak of how many
I
years?
think it was 9 years
9 years
that
streak.
Calvert
9
beat St. Joe my senior year. That was, I'm not gonna throw names out there, but when I had a coach, administrator go out on the stage in the pep rally and burn a Calvert jersey, get us all hyped up, and that was
That did it.
That was it. We're ready to rock and roll.
that was. I think back because that was a rivalry back when I was. They used to dress up as the Streak when I was a kid in high school.
What is a streak?
That's what they
That's
were.
Captain
Oh.
Streak. So there was that's the name of their
Mascot. So they would have a guy come as a Streak, and you got to throw eggs at him
Oh my God.
at Calvert.
This is like
they
a
would,
big rivalry.
Oh, they would
Oh,
run.
yeah.
He would, and it'd be a coach, and these guys would pelt him. So it was like the coaches, the guy that had to dress up, it sucked because you were getting hit with eggs.
Oh
No
my
helmet, you
God.
just ran through, and everybody got to throw eggs at you. It was the big bonfire was always that weekend.
Yeah.
Then they started this rock thing. Some
Oh,
St.
yeah.
Joe guys came over, and I think they painted our rock or did something that became like a.
Yeah, where they through the week, it would you take the rock. So St. Joe guys would win.
Yeah.
Right. They'd take the rock and they'd bring it and they just would place it somewhere like in the middle of the practice field.
Oh yeah.
Different
Okay.
things, and then now you got to remove it and just, yeah.
Make a big.
White shirt, and that's so
Not good with your great popsicle.
not good. My great popsicle. I can't. That thing
You missed your
spilled all
mouth
over.
with a straw.
Well, I did. No, it spilled. He had it up so full. Anyways,
Oh
so
my
it's,
gosh.
anyways,
That's all right.
white shirts. I was like, I shouldn't wear white shirts. Yeah, I created this because then I was like, I'm gonna
You thought that.
spill something on it.
Yep.
So new in high school gets the scholarship, comes to Tiffin University,
Correct.
where we actually started to become the team doctor. We did all the training for the athletes, so they used to come down.
Yep.
And he had ankle issues.
Yeah, that's why I remember our first. You walked in. We were at the YMCA. I basically had broke my ankle, but didn't know I broke my ankle. All that stuff, all the tendons and stuff, and then started doing rehab. But I remember you walking in, and that's where we first met, and we started talking. You're like, where you're from, and I said, Fremont, St. Joe, and then you're like, I don't know if I can give you treatment. You had hair then, like I was like, it was.
I did, yeah. I
Oh my gosh,
had
it's
a
been quite
flow.
a
They
few
called it a
years.
flow.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite a few years
I don't know
ago.
if it was a
You look
flow,
like
but-
Sonny Corentos off the what is it, the Young and Restless or whatever,
Yeah.
the slick back
I
hair.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
I did have
That's
me and
when
Donnie.
you and Donnie were letting your hair grow long.
Yeah, and it was
long,
slick back.
curly.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could do that, but it's just a big bald spot right there.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So then he became patient. So got to watch his career through, Tiffin University. He had a great, your senior year, you were 9-10-1, or
Yeah.
a great year. So it was awesome, and got to become, friends, and he helped at our house.
Yeah, build a
and-
relationship. So it was just more than that.
Yeah.
So you get to know people, build a relationship, and always trying to make a little bit of money, through college and stuff. And then
Yeah.
you guys were building the wall at the pool. I don't know if you guys were still building the house or whatever,
we
but
just started, yeah.
and myself and a couple of college buddies would come over and like literally carry rocks to the guy who was like
Yeah,
chipping
who was-
rocks
Yeah.
and then put that big slab, it was
Slab
like 400
on,
pound
yeah.
slab on there, and so then that kind
I
of just
forgot
started.
about that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of
I'd feed them. Remember, we'd have the Carmi dinner. They'd all come out. I'd always
Yeah.
take care of them, feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all college kids. I took care of them.
That was good. Get the TU football guys to carry all that stone to our backyard.
Lento always up, so we got that relationship. Then, Lento comes to me and is like, graduates and is like, hey, I need a job. So at that time, it was funny because we had, so at the restaurant, I was always, you're not the first person that's done that. Because I get people, because we own a factory, or
Right.
restaurant, own a lot of businesses. So people that come like, yeah, come get a job. And sat down with him, and we were doing Herbalife at the time, just kind of.
You and I were doing Herbalife at the time.
Us.
I think
yes.
you're like new, like
We probably were
It had to be
in.
pretty
a
new
year or
because we
two in.
were. What year did you graduate TU?
So it would have been 2008.
Yeah.
2007, 8.
Yeah. So we signed up with Herbalife in May of 2007, and
so
we
just-
really didn't do much until later that year. So,
So-
we were pretty brand new.
Brand new, starting it, and so I kind of pitched it to him, and he's like, "Yeah, no, it's a multi-level marketing. No, it just
Not for
no.
me.
You got a job, but how about a job?" And I'm like, "No, I don't got a job. I don't need like any job I'd want to put him in, because it was like, we had the factory, but that job sucks. It's,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's good, but it's a nowhere.
It's not a job for a people person.
Right.
No. And so he goes, okay, well, good. I'll just go do my own thing. So we kept in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, that's a good thing of just building relationships and knowing people, right? And so, whether it was something about me or just how I approach relationships, and again, we'll get into why I'm in the classroom and doing different things, but it's building those connections. And so, as a wellness director, for a local hospital, working with clients, working with patients, patients would be in rehab, and I transition them over to a wellness program, right? Because once their insurance runs out, what do? They
Right.
feel good, and
Keep
then
'em active,
at
keep
the
'em moving.
time, you guys were doing weight loss challenges.
Yeah.
So again, what happened is he's still dripping on me about not Herbalife, right? Not multi-level marketing, but hey, we've got this system in these weight loss challenges with what you're doing. How can you plug this into, what's already going on?
Yeah.
And so he kind of just kept that relationship going
Because that worked out for us. And when we were doing therapy on
Right.
people and chiropractic on people that had weight to lose,
Right.
their extra weight was a limiting factor in how good they could feel.
Correct.
So you were in a similar situation in another town, helping people with their health and wellness. But if you can't help them lose weight, it is a limiting factor
Yep,
for
absolutely.
how well they can feel physically.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's I was coaching then, so like right out of college, I had great coaches. I fell in love. I love football. I love sport.
Where'd you first start? You started at
Fremont, so I can go through this. I went to Fremont St. Joe.
St. Joe. That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Fremont St. Joe, when your first
Yeah,
coaching.
was with Todd Drewsbach, and so
He still owes me money, by the way.
yeah, so
A lot.
I'll tag Todd in this, and so we can get that going.
Actually, he owes me double.
Right. Right, because I remember that week that year you guys went 2-8. Calvert did, and we went 9-1, and that was one of our losses. And the quiet kid ran like 300 yards on us, and that was a double or nothing bet that
Yeah,
day.
yeah, because you just got done beating Hopewell, who hadn't been beat at home in
Right.
like forever by college. They just got off. They were state
Yeah.
runners up.
Yeah.
They were unbelievable. You went in and beat them,
Second
and you
two
thought you were
OTs.
just going to kick the shit out of us. We come down there, we kick off, fumble, score. We kick off
Interception.
again, interception, we score. Kick off again, fumble, we
Yeah.
score.
It
It
was-
was
Oh
like
my
throwing
God.
nothing within 3 minutes.
It was unreal,
like
like what happened.
Almost like a
So
Adam
Drew's
Sandler
back, you owe
movie.
me double.
Right. So so I was there coaching, and then had the opportunity to basically I went for the head coaching job. Todd had left, went to Rossford. I didn't get it, and so I had an option to Coach Kidwell was at Fremont Ross. He approached me about being a part of their their staff, and I'm like, I'm not sure. And, just something in my gut said, give this a shot. And I'm so glad I did, because I want to open up a whole nother avenue of like coaching, learning the different sports, and then also being around a different demographic of players and kids and communities.
Fremont Ross is way bigger school than
Right.
St. Joe.
So, but
Home of Charles
Charles Woodson.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a statue over him up there. So I was there for a couple of years. So this is kind of how that I think the transition started of coaching, knowing that I had a passion, I want to be a part of it. But my current position started to basically, we want you around more. We want you doing different things. And so my schedule was this: as a wellness director, I'd get up 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd go in and making sure everything was set up, and I'd be there till 2:30. I would then go to practice and do practice, and then I would come back right at like 6:30, and I'd be at the office from 6:30 to 8 o'clock working with. So I was salary, but I wanted to make sure that my presence was known in that gap. And there's some things that kind of happened in there on why their pressure of me. I don't think you can coach anymore.
So that was
so that was like, okay, we need to start looking at it. I didn't like the contract that was presented to me, which then opened up the phone call back to you of, hey, getting ready to have, so our oldest son is now 13. So we're getting ready to have our first child.
They wanted to put a no compete in at you near Fremont. And people are watching me in Ohio, but he's a half hour away from Fremont. It's a small town like Tiffin, 16,
his
17,000.
family's there, his wife's family's there.
Yeah. And he met her in high school, you know what I mean? And it was like a 50-mile radius.
90.
Was it 90 miles?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Of Fremont and Tiffin.
Yeah, so pretty much puts him like
you have to
far
move
away.
somewhere.
I'm gonna have to move somewhere if I wanted to be in health and wellness and and training and that aspect of
And all the
it.
stuff that you studied and did.
Right.
Yeah. So he calls me and, hey, you got a job.
So this is what, like 4 years later?
4 years later.
About 4 years, 4.5 years later. Yeah.
At that time, we're doing Herbalife at that time. So we first started. We're making about $4 or $5 grand a month doing these weight loss challenges, doing some other things. We're at that point even more serious than we were. Like we saw this as, for us personally, that network marketing was an out of the rat race for us. So freedom, and I did. I saw that. I'm like, we weren't there yet. We weren't close. But I was like,
but we saw the benefits that we were able to provide to the community through those weight loss challenges. We helped people lose over 10,000 pounds. We were getting the thank you so much for changing my life. Thank you so much. Now that I can move more, now that I can be with my grandkids, now that I can more active, now that I can ride a Cedar Point ride for the first time. We're like, wow, this is really impactful, and it could give us some more time freedom, which we had never really had.
Right, and that's the crazy thing is so that was happening. But again, I'm going to bring it back to my coaching aspect of it. So in this whole contract non-compete, and I get why companies got to do it, and I understand why businesses want to do it, and no issue with that. The issue for me was I don't know if you're going to be able to coach anymore.
Yeah. That was your biggest.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what's that? Well, we want you, if we're going to do this, we're going to pay you more. We need you here more. And I'm like, I'm a guy, I'm an all-in type of guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure it out, but I can't just coach part-time. I can't do things. And I can't, if I have to sit here and explain to you why I coach, then you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And there's guys out there, there's girls out there who coach, and listen, there ain't no money in coaching in Ohio. Okay?
Right.
in high school.
When you break it down, it's like 2 cents an hour.
Right.
If you get paid.
Maybe at a couple of the big schools, maybe there's a few.
Yeah,
But you got to do it. You do it because you love it and you're passionate about it, not for the money, not for this. So you can't explain that to somebody else.
That's what really drove me for the phone call. Like I need to figure out what I can do and still be able to coach.
Right.
So that was a phone call. Like, hey, do you have a job? And you're like, yeah. Actually, you know what? I might have something. How about you and Dee come over and meet me and Shayna at the house?
Yeah.
So I think I'm coming over to get a
job interview or a job, yeah.
I'm like, listen, I'll work cash in hand. Can you get me insurance? I'll just work on. I'll just cash flow it. Like I'm ready to rock and roll. I'll go out and I'll hustle. And then we sit down and
I do the same pitch.
The same exact pitch.
You did
4.5 years later. But you know what? I heard it differently because I was in a different spot in my life where I needed an opportunity and I felt I could control it.
Right. Yeah. And you were the kind of guy that wanted the ball. You want let me control it. Let me run with it. Let me figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I remember, we talked about it. We did it. I said, okay, if you're going to do this, the events are key. There's an event in Chicago. We'll come pick you up. Literally, they get their order that they need to get.
The night before.
The night before, we show up in I don't know, like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. They got a new baby.
Yeah.
Put the baby in the
Put
car.
the baby in the car, and we drive
Drive
5
to
hours
Chicago.
to Chicago. And I
Wow.
remember, walking in there. At that time, it was probably 300 or 400 people, maybe 500 people.
I have no idea.
But remember, it was like you had the little stroller, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. Herbalife events are, and it's a little overwhelming.
It was, yeah.
Like crazy, because I'll say that. Like if you're new, you're like, what is going on? What am I getting into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people are happy. People are
everybody
standing
was
up.
happy.
You
They're
don't
like,
get it. You don't walk into a room with like 400 or 500 happy people.
No.
Many places
No.
where they're
No.
excited and they're happy and they're smiling and they're
Yeah.
high fiving you and they're
wanted to know who you are and what you do. And
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So it's funny. Yeah, we get there. We have this green stroller, and we got these people coming up to me like, "Oh my gosh, is this an Herbalife stroller?" And I'm like, "What the heck are these people talking about?" He's looking at me, and I'm like, "I don't know." And then, I remember it was you gotta get your ticket, man. And I will never forget. Again, it's just gut, it's faith, it's trust in people to pay the way. And again, I'm gonna bet on myself.
Right.
At the end of the day. And so when I wrote that check, that was like the last money that was in our bank account.
Wow.
$86 what it was for
Yeah.
the tickets to go. And it was,
I got to give credit to Dee.
yeah. Listen,
I mean, you bet on yourself, but she bets on you just as much.
absolutely 100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
I would not,
the
we would
fact
not be
that-
where we're at
yeah,
without,
like
she's yeah.
Was so supportive. I'm sure scared as hell.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A new baby on the way and you're quitting your job with guaranteed income.
Yep.
And I'm sure she was scared as hell, but she
I-
was like,
yeah.
once the decision was made, she's like, I'm all in.
Yeah. 2 car
do it.
payments, a house payment,
I'm in with you. I got it. Let's do it.
no
Yeah.
severance. This
And
is,
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny because people always say like, how'd you
I mean,
get
I think that was a big. Obviously, if she doubts, and then that gets in your head, and then it's a whole different outcome.
Right.
But the two of you together were like, lock arms, let's go.
still that way today.
But
know,
I also
love
think
it.
I also
love it.
think the big thing was the trust that you had in us.
Yeah.
Like that was I think so. It wasn't like you just met me
No.
Yeah.
and I'm trust. We
Back to
built.
relationship.
We had a
over
past relationship for years.
8 years at least,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, just about at that time, probably 8 years of keeping in touch. Like, never
Just about life, different
life.
things.
Yeah.
It was
if you had questions
About
'cause
private football, rising about.
but if we had talks about like his job and what he did, like some things like that, like other things and contracts and
Yeah.
Right.
because he came to me about the contract first. Was like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, same thing. What do you think? And like, wow, you're kind of if they fire you, you okay with
You're
leaving?
moving.
You're
You're
pigeonholing
moving. Are you
yourself.
okay with moving? You're like, no, I'm not. Okay, then this is no good. So we had that relationship and that trust and so it was gonna be hard work. Still, it was a big leap, but on the same token, it was like, okay, these guys are doing it. We're gonna figure it out. And goes to the event. That's what we did. And really, for 3 years,
yeah.
you coached part time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it was because we had that discussion. I'm like, Mike, here's the thing. You may not be able, you're going to be able to coach, but you're not going to be able to head coach. You're not going to be able right now.
There was a year, so we'll kind of go. So I was at St. Joe, then I was at Ross for 2 years. Again, being there and going into the third year, and I think that third year is when I had kind of got in. I don't say kind of got in. I got into Herbalife, right?
Yeah.
And it was funny. Guys were razzing me and all that good stuff, and I at the end of the day, like I was kind of like blind faith. But when we went to the event, right, and that's where the event is key because I learned, there's a stigma about network marketing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden being there and understanding the impact, understanding that people could, that was my thing is, okay, I got this profit margin and the percentage, I can just go retail the crap out of this and, working with my clients and different things. And so, okay, I can go hustle $2,500 a month.
And you were already good at helping people. You already liked
I was
helping
already
people.
in that
You're already
flow,
in that
had that realm
mindset.
But then when it got to, okay, if we're going to do this, there was a year that I took off of coaching, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And that was my first relationship with Tiffin because the current coach had contacted me. He was like, hey, we're struggling a little bit. We're 1-4. I'm not sure what's going on. Can you help me out? And so it kind of filled the void because my wife at the time, Dee was like, listen, you need to figure out how to coach because coaching's in your blood and you can't have it. You're driving me nuts. Like, I think you're home too much. And so we were living in Portland at the time, and Bo Carmen, right, Tiffin guy, he had just taken that job over, but wanted to keep that staff together. And so basically from Thursday to Saturday, I was helping, Calvert breaking down film, seeing different things.
Really?
Giving
I don't
tips.
think I knew that.
Yeah,
I
but
remember that.
but it was like, it wasn't a full-time commitment.
No.
It wasn't. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, I'll help you, but I have this first.
I have this. I was okay.
You're almost like a
in.
consultant. Kind
Yeah,
of,
it was the means to an end. Knowing, okay, I really got to put my head down, butt up, grind in this. Build a team, get it to where I wanted to get to where I could have the flexibility.
Yeah.
At some point to make the choice of coaching, not coaching, this job, not that
Right.
job, but just have that flexibility. And again, double downing on myself.
Right.
And so it was tough. I took, but like for 3 years, it was
A
head
lot of
down,
work.
bun up,
Yeah,
working.
a lot of work.
Legitly, there was not every day was, but there was days where it was 18 hours a day.
Yep.
Right.
And making that happen. So yeah.
Yeah, but your focus was not. That was the thing. Focus, and we talked about that. Like, you do it now. The biggest thing, and I see with a lot of people is they want it now. They want everything now.
Yeah.
And they don't want to give up the little bit. Like, hey, and the same thing. Like I said, like if you do this right, Mike, you could coach and never have to worry about money.
Right.
And because obviously you're a small town guy. You got kids,
Right.
and your kids are gonna play. You weren't looking to go college, go pro, and do that realm of coaching, which people, I think you could do it if you really put your mind to, but it's a whole different world. It's
Yeah.
a lot of moves,
Right.
A lot
No,
of
but he's-
moves, a lot of hours.
a lot of hours, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and a lot of no money, and but could eventually, Nick Saban seems to be okay with it. He's
Hey, I might get a call someday.
you never know.
I never know.
And so we talked about that, and that was where this led, and then then you started getting back into coaching as the check went up and as things started going, as you were more stable in Herbalife, you were able to have more freedom, and then plus you're starting to figure out how can I work this bit, do it all.
Right.
So we've had, even recently in the last year, we've had a couple new distributors join us, and we go to events and we talk to them about this can give you time freedom, and then the first 90 days they don't have time freedom. They're like, oh, you promised me freedom. Well, no, not. You have to earn it. You have to put the work in.
Yeah.
You have to put the work in to earn the freedom. You have to work. Work comes, success comes with work no matter what.
That's the biggest misconception.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
most people when
There
they
is
get,
no time freedom in the beginning.
No.
when they get into stuff, right, they just don't have enough skills
Yeah.
to one, be in sales.
Yeah.
Two, distract or kick back the negativity of just
Right.
the ignorant arrogance of people don't understand what we do.
Yep.
Right. But they don't have enough skills, and so people don't. And we heard that this week. This past weekend of most people don't fail. They just quit before they have enough skills to succeed at whatever they're doing, and that's in any walk
In
of
anything.
life. In anything.
That's in anything.
So again, you're not failing. You're just quitting before you have enough skills.
Right. It's a process to build the skills, no matter what that thing is.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the same. Let's bring it back to football.
Right.
And I see guys, and so many times is coaches will write off freshmen or not give them the time of day, or even have that realistic conversation with them of, hey, listen, you're not very good right now, and I get that.
Right.
But I need you to stay long enough to develop the skills, because you could become an absolute role player when you're a senior.
Yeah.
And so in this instant gratification world and with low numbers, again, tag it to anything,
Yeah.
but people don't want to do the time.
Right.
Put
in
the
anything.
time in and
Put
the
the
work
time
in
in.
to build the skills.
Right, to build the skills, to
Yeah.
develop it, to win that championship.
Yeah.
Right.
To different things. Everybody quits, and all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, I should have gave myself a chance. I should have, you know what I mean? But again, we live in this instant gratification world, and it's filtrating into everything we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
So
Put the time in. Put the time in.
Well, it's a skill. It's hard. It's a hard thing with the internet, the phones, and everything else.
Yeah.
It's hard to like. It's like immediate at your need.
I mean,
it's funny
and
because
also everything you see on social media is the success, or in general, we've taled about that before. What you see is the success. You don't see.
Nobody talks about the grittiness.
the
and the
grittiness,
problem is
the
even
failures, the
some of the
grinding,
failures
the-
you see are manufactured because they went. It's a ploy. There's a lot of that too. You go, it's
right.
crazy.
No,
It's like,
but nobody. Well, the people that are in the grind and failing like crazy right now, they're not necessarily thinking about documenting that journey. You know what I mean? They're building the skills, they're doing the work. So you don't see them till they're pretty and shiny and winning
right.
in anything.
Yeah, building it back to just,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to give head coaching a shot, right? And like,
So you're still now.
Yeah, go
You
back
haven't
to
had a head coaching. You haven't had a head coach
At that
job
point,
yet.
no, he's
No.
at Port Clinton.
so I was Port Clinton,
Still assistant coaching.
still assistant coaching.
Okay.
Was there for 2 years, and then I believe it was I got a phone call that the head coaching job at Fremont Ross was going to be open. Did I have any interest? And it's funny how things happen because I wasn't looking for it, and I said, well, okay, I'll apply. But then it started the conversation of, do we plant roots in Port Clinton? Do we go back home when we like small, just,
Yeah.
and so, but because of the choice that we made with Herbalife, it then became the conversation of, okay, this could become a reality of me becoming a head coach.
Right.
And then 2, we've leveraged ourselves to have this decision.
Yeah. Now you're in the place where you can.
Yeah, we can have that decision. We can move back and can still build, and not that it's perfect. And then didn't get it, but got runner up. I say runner up to the job, but and the right guy got hired. So I was there, and then all of a sudden Lakota's job come open.
Okay.
And so
it's another small school in the same the same geographical area.
And again, what better way to bet on yourself to kind of ground up? I believe Lakota had gone through 5 head coaches in 6 years.
Dang.
So revolving door, build a program. I'm like, hey, listen, let's go see if I'm any good at this thing.
Yeah.
Because
It's been on your list
not
for a while.
Not taking over a winning program, a winning tradition. So can we go infiltrate everything that coaches, business people, our success within Herbalife and just life, my parents. So can we go spill that into Lakota? My wife graduated from Lakota, so there was some familiarity there. And
Who did Dee did?
Yeah, she went to Lakota.
I tell you, met at the fair.
Yeah.
we met at the fair in a little neighborhood cul-de-sac.
Right. Okay.
So
And you were 15, right?
when we were 15,
15
years old, high school sweethearts.
So you guys lived close to each other.
That's awesome.
But she is right because St. Joe wasn't in a.
No, we weren't in the same league.
There's no district. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So,
Can you read? I can't read anything on there.
No, I see D's on though. That's awesome.
Hi, Dee.
I do. I'm biased, but I think she's the most beautiful girl in the world. Hey, listen, I bought.
Besides my wife.
So listen, do you do this? I just buy flowers randomly and take them to the house.
Yeah, it's funny.
I don't do flowers on Valentine's Day. I
Right.
don't do hey, it's Thursday.
Know what I do?
You go out back here and pick them.
Pick up, yeah.
No, I grow them. That's how important my wife is. I
He
grow
grows the
them.
flower.
And then
I'm gonna come pick.
and then I go pick.
See, yeah, just go back in the
I'm
back
gonna
and
go
pick the wildflowers.
I'm gonna go pick the flowers that you grow.
Yes, go pick the wildflowers. They are really pretty.
I planted my wife a whole
wildflowers.
field.
Oh my gosh.
Daisies.
That's a little bit
You got-
dramatic.
I
But
planted daisies in there.
you did.
That's her favorite
Yeah,
flower.
I don't know that you planted them for me, but I do get the benefit of them.
I did plant them for you.
Yeah.
Daisies, I did.
Okay.
So that's
I
good.
believe you.
But that's good, and so
It is. That's the way to do it.
A longevity of a relationship is
Yeah.
known those small little love languages
Yep.
things, and yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. So Lakota and was a great, challenging. I'm so glad I was there for being a head coach my first stint because, again,
You did great.
I wasn't great at it.
Well, but
I mean,
you built a
there's-
good culture.
So there's so many things, but on the back end of it, like my communication skills with parents, like I don't think was the best at first. My communication skills with the players, I don't think was the best at first. Not intentionally, unintentionally. Of like, okay, wait a minute, things have changed, the world has changed. So how do you develop this? But because of Herbalife, I was able to do that, and so I get the job, and so I know to be able to change this, is I need to be in the building.
Yeah.
Like, so when they offered me the job, I'm like, okay, is there something in the building? And it was funny because everybody's like, you're not going to be doing Herbalife no more. You're not going to be doing this. It must be struggling. I go, no, I'm able to do this because we're not struggling.
Right.
I'm able to leverage myself because I'm not struggling.
Right. And take a
Right. And then if you're building,
And it did, the same thing with the Herbalife. We had a conversation. We had a couple of conversations, and it did. Herbalife did. It's funny because your focus didn't hurt it didn't hurt the Herbalife because you're able to do it. You didn't grow it at that time because it was like you didn't have the skills of a head coach.
you had to build those skills.
You had to put those skills
Absolutely.
and then combine the two. So it was another transition, but the business didn't bottom out. It didn't hurt. It didn't grow where
Right.
where you wanted to grow but you had to figure out how do I do it.
correct. I was willing to know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so then how do I
Your
do it?
expectations
Give
were
it time.
Right.
Give it time.
You know, so
because even in the meantime, he had a downline that hit top 1%.
yeah.
And then before they did, and then but the same thing, he developed the skills, and then when it was ready,
It was
went
there.
right to the 1%.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it was just it was a little bit of a step back, develop skills on a whole nother level.
Correct.
That I want, and that's the thing. You're
Was
passionate
it surprising to you that you said you weren't good at being a head coach at first? Did that surprise you? Or were you like, just because you'd been in coaching for so long?
Yeah.
But learning, it's a whole new level.
Whole new level.
It's a whole new level.
I mean, even like this, yeah, it surprised me a little bit to where it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Like even with your assistant coaches, like,
Yeah.
and I'll kind of get to where I'm at with Calvert, and I've learned that, and I've learned to give them things. But like I wanted to, not that I wanted to do it all, but I wanted to do it all. It was like kind of like my program. I didn't want, okay, if nothing was getting done, I'm going to fix it. So not fix it, but if I'm going to do it anyways, I might as well do it all.
Might as well do it all.
I'm talking paperwork and all this stuff, and being, at every lifting, and not having other coaches take over. Just so many things, and there was just so much time.
There's a lot of leadership lessons in that.
Oh my goodness, it was.
Yeah.
But we have great kids. I've got at Lakota great administration. The program's in a great place with again.
Your former no, he's not. He was
the
Clyde boy.
Clyde boy, right? So relationships, right? Fast. He comes to me when I had On Point Wellness to get extra training, right? So I'm training him extra, speed and agility, different things. Get him in a little bit of nutrition plan.
Yeah.
Okay, still building that relationship. He goes and wins a state championship for Clyde in football.
Wow. Goes
to Madonna. And then, we went through some tough times at Lakota, losing some coaches.
Yeah.
A lesson that you just don't know and how it worked.
Right.
And then he calls me and says, listen, coaching's in my heart. I don't know if playing's in my heart anymore. Can I come back home and help you finish the season? And so then that happens. Then he decides he likes it, loves it, great kid. And again, relationships. And where we were leveraged at Lakota, we had a gym teacher kind of step down. And so he transitioned his degree into physical education.
Okay.
Because then now we were able to get him hired at Lakota. Great teacher, awesome with the kids. And then, a leadership thing is I gave him, but like I said, listen, he had some ideas about the offense. So you have some ideas, you be the OC.
Yeah.
And like it was tough, but I was pretty much completely off. I gave some suggestions. I maybe yelled at him once or twice about, hey, listen, figure this out.
Yeah.
In a good way, but he becomes the OC, and then kind of fast forward to where the seat I'm sitting in right now.
Yeah,
as
right.
far as with the Calvert stuff on. Again, not looking for it. Absolutely, it wasn't even in a conversation until it happened.
Well, it was all of a sudden in the conversation, right?
We just built a house on 9 acres.
Just built a house. I remember it came up, and you said, he think Michael? I said, no way.
Well, somebody said that to me. Somebody said Mike Lento's in the running for the Calvert job. I go, there's no way he's ever going to consider that
I wasn't
job.
even looking at it.
Well, because I said no way. Then you called me and you said, what do you think? I'm like, what do you mean what I think?
Yeah, I was
you even thinking about it? He goes, well, I don't know.
I was certain you wouldn't even consider it just because of the house and it would probably, because I know you would probably include a move to Tiffin. I'm like, there's just no way he's going to move his family again. It's just not going to happen.
So let's go back to the Herbalife conversation of events and just leadership, because this is how the conversation happened. And again, I'm a man of faith, and I think of, you can call it divine intervention and just affirmations of where it's at there, whether you're looking for it and speaking it or not.
Yeah.
And again, I want this to land correct for anybody that sees it, because again, I love Lakota. I love the people at Lakota.
Yeah.
I love my experience. And when I left, right, everybody was like, why are you leaving? I go, there's no reason. This is all personal. This is all family. There's nobody's ever chased me out. It was just, it aligns right. And again, this comes back to the leverage of leveraging yourself to where you can have choice, to where
right.
I'm not married to a job to where I have to worry about the money.
Right.
All those things. But we were at Future Press, and I don't even know what was said.
Yeah.
But I'm on the plane ride home and I was talking to Dee, and I go, I'm just unsettled. And I go, I don't know what that means. I don't know, as a coach, I feel like am I lowering my standards? I don't know what it is. I go, but I don't, and it's not that I don't have the passion, but I want more. I want to raise myself. Am I not surrounding myself with the right people? And again, these are all these things that are popping in my head. I don't know. And I had actually even talked to Ryan, who's the new coach at Lakota, and I said, hey, listen, I'm thinking about maybe, do you become the new man and I step back and then, be an assistant? Like, this is a conversation that before all this
Calvert thing happened. Yeah. Really.
And I wrote my letter of resignation just to see what it felt like.
Oh my gosh, that's a good little. Yeah. That's a really good
lesson
for. Like, if you're thinking about it, go through that process and see how you feel about it.
And this is, again, nothing. This is not going anywhere else. This is just like, hey, I'm gonna step back. Can maybe grind on Herbalife a little bit more, and I was still gonna again, in the school, ISS director, transition into teaching business leadership.
Right.
Love teaching students. Love the things that we're getting. I'm teaching human beings how to be human beings. Do you know kids don't even know how to write an address on an envelope anymore?
I experienced that with my own kids.
Okay,
yes.
so I'm teaching this stuff and just kind of leveraging.
Ask them to write a check. They don't know what a check is.
Right.
No.
But then again, squirrel. But like I was talking to the BNI group yesterday about just what I'm doing at being in Seneca County, being at Calvert, like linking kids up to open your doors so I can get them into your business and not just a 1-day internship, but struggles, different things, and then you tell them if you'd hire them or not.
Yeah.
So this is what we're bringing to the table.
That's
here
awesome.
at
That's
Tiffin
really
Calvert.
awesome.
But anyway, so wrote a letter of resignation to see what it felt like, and I'm not kidding you. 2 days later, Coach Reeser steps down.
Wow.
Still not looking at Calvert.
Yeah.
Still not looking at Calvert.
Right.
And again, affirmations is putting us out there. And so then called you. So this is before I even talked to Dee. And called you. Said, "What do you think? What's the culture? What's the atmosphere over there? Just being involved." And we again, another leadership time conversation. Yeah. Here's what you do. And so then talked to Dee, and she's like, "You got to talk to the kids."
Yeah.
And so I sat down as a dad, not as a coach.
Yeah. And
said, "Hey, I'm thinking about this.
Right.
This is a family decision, and if you guys say no," so at the time, Eddie was at 13, my 11-year-old, my 9 or 8-year-old. So if you guys say no, we're not doing it.
Right.
I'm not even gonna look at applying. I'm done with my conversations, done with the phone calls. And there was tears shed. There were different things.
Yeah.
But again, because of where we're at with and again, Herbalife Network marketing, how we've leveraged ourselves, building relationships, we're able to have that conversation.
Well, great. I mean, it's interesting. I get it all the time. Like, well, how's he afford to go from a public school to a Catholic school? We don't pay as well. We're not as big. You know what I mean? As a coach, or probably close to the Lakota size, but not. But money wise, no. I mean, we're all privately funded and and he makes more. I said, and I've told people, Mike makes more money in Herbalife than he does coaching.
Yeah.
Teaching.
And teaching. Yes.
Correct.
He does. So it's not.
It's not that hard to make more money than coaching.
No. No. Yeah. Than teaching. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, they don't realize like what you set yourself up with those 3 years of.
I was head down.
Of not of saying, okay, I can't. Even that 1 year of not even really coaching. Like I got to put my passion down.
For a short time.
For a short time. That's what a sacrifice. People think a sacrifice is it's a means to an ends.
Right.
They think it's a forever thing. The pain hurts, and they think the pain's going to always hurt. No, the pain of like, and we had a lot of talks like you miss coaching. We talk like that a lot of times. Like, man, it's just I don't know. Am I doing the right thing? And coaching is my passion. I'm like, just stay the course. Get it to where you can get it to where you have you're bulletproof. You have choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing in your industry is. When you don't have choices, they can get rid of you. You're at their mercy because.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add the same thing on the flip side of it. So I'm grateful, but I'm able to do it because I have a passion, and I can have my passion lead me to somewhere or stay somewhere and not have to chase money.
Right.
So there's so many coaches, and not all, but so many coaches who, you start getting into that retirement phase, or you start getting this, how am I going to get my top 5 years of, or top 2 years of my biggest pay for when I get into retirement, or, hey, this job comes open, but you really love this, you really built this culture here, but maybe your family, for whatever reason, situation, now you need more money, and so now you move because this this school, this job may give you more money, right? And that's not in every circumstance, but
Right.
that's just reality.
But a lot it does, yeah. In that
But
public
so,
system.
so
Can be,
I was able to, make the decision, and so it was again. People asked when I was going to resign and be done at Lakota. People, and I had, whether it be colleagues or it would be parents, like, how are you going to afford to do that? And I'm like, you guys forget I do herb. I've done Herbalife and I've leveraged myself. And again, it's not like a knee-jerk reaction of like, hey, I'm better than you. It was just, we've leveraged ourselves as a family to make a family decision and be a part of it. And we're so grateful being here. Again, I'm grateful where we come from, but we're grateful for being here. It's been great for our kids. My wife just got asked to be on the autumn auction committee. So we're getting in there, But again, it's just being that's a trap, isn't it?
It's a big, we do this to the new kids all the time. Guess what?
We got him, right?
In
No.
like
Got
15
him. She'll be
years,
working.
she's going to still be on the
Autumn auction committee.
She loves this stuff, so it'll be
That's
good.
good.
She'll
She'll
be
actually
great at it.
really great at it because she's really great at that. She's going to be great on that.
So we're doing the mom. Are you coming to the mom's night on Friday?
I'm not coming because it's Friday. I'm never in town on Friday night.
So we're gonna do a Jeopardy Family Feud style on football stuff.
Dang it. That's
games.
totally my thing.
I know. So just think about it. Just saying. So we're yeah. So that was her idea. She's
Totally
like,
my thing.
She goes, listen. She's
You
like,
may have
what-
to switch to your Mondays since I'm going to
I know.
not be able to go on Fridays. So.
I know.
she goes-
I've been going on Fridays.
Because Dee was like, so what is this? Mom's like, I'm like, I don't know. Get together, explain football. And she goes, that seems really dry.
Yeah.
She's like, we gotta do something fun, and I'm like, okay. So she's coming up. So we're gonna come up with questions. So it was her idea,
good.
and then Coach Howie Stoltz, his wife, he brought it up to her, and she's like, yeah, that's awesome. I love Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So we'll do that.
Yeah.
But going back to it is again, it's again the affirmations, the piece of it. But because of, I was a part of like a little bit of personal development, but like going to events and getting events from like just Herbalife and just again going to like let's roll into extravaganza, because I told somebody this. I go, you could have put any business person into this extravaganza, and they would have walked out becoming a better business person.
Right.
Like legitly
Wasn't
because of the
necessarily
training.
just
we
So for the
got.
people that don't know, so the extravaganza, we just got back from Minnesota. Stadium's awesome.
We were in, what was it called? U.S. Bank
U.S.
Stadium?
Bank Stadium where the
Where the
Vikings
Vikings
play.
play.
It's really a cool. That
was huge.
It was huge.
was
The
huge.
the skylights.
The skylights,
was just-
natural
yeah.
lighting
It's
inside of there.
It would
in
be
a
awesome.
dome.
That's an awesome atmosphere.
But so again, let me just give you a 2-minute synopsis of again just knowing success, wanting success, and not even the thought process. So I swear it was our flight that started the whole cancellations flight out
I
of Detroit.
think so. You were the first one.
We were the first ones, and it was funny. I was texting a buddy of ours. Eric, he's in our downline, and he was going to be on the same flight. He was going to stay with us the first night. Him and Amber, and I said, "Hey, we just got a text that the flight's canceled." He's like, "No, I'm looking at the screen. It just says delayed." I go, "Dude, I just got an email. It says canceled." And by the time we parked our car and kind of looked at some flights and was like, if I'm going to pay that much for a flight, I'm flying to Europe and going to go to Zurich and go to the extravaganza in Germany. And then we got our bags and we drove over, and the text messages, hey, we're driving. And it was funny because it didn't even, just where we're at mentally and where we want in the success of our business and our lives and different things.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a question that we were going to drive.
Right.
It was just, and then by the time we're 6 hours into the drive for our first stop, we're like, did
Whoa.
we just really make a decision to drive?
We're still, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the, not letting things affect you, being solution oriented right away. There's
Well, it's
focus
also
10% on the problem. Our flight's canceled. We have to get to Minnesota. What do we do? 90% on the solution. How do we get there?
But you also understood the value. The biggest thing is a lot of people don't understand value, what you're going to get, because you've been to events, you know what they are, and our business events are key. We just talked about this morning.
Yeah.
It's even at that event the other day.
Keeps you warm.
They talk,
Keeps you warm. Keeps you at the fire.
and it's network marketing, like you said. You still get people saying you still do it. It's like they still make fun of me. They still like I do really well, and and the great thing is we do really well, and people don't get that.
Right.
And well, why do you go to the events? Why do we go to events because we do really well, and it's good for us, and I love it. It's like.
And we built relationships with people.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that people. I always say Friday night, the first night there, for the big events, is my favorite.
Seeing people from all around the country that we don't get to see very often.
Very often. It's like a family reunion.
Yeah,
it's like I just talked to a corporate guy because we had they always have a which you missed because your flights were screwed up.
We're in the car instead.
Unfortunately. But it's like, so the first night is a president's team, which is top 1% around the world, around the country. I mean, go. And it's, they have it was kind of cool this year. They had the inside that was like dance, dark, kind of but real loud music.
Yeah, she was saying.
And then the outside was like,
was still
like outside was
buffet,
and outside food was outside and drinks were outside, but it was more of like you sat around and you talked. It was like a mixer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I told the corporate guy, I said, we need to get rid of, it's too loud. I said, maybe I'm just the old guy. I get it. But really, there's more people outside than inside.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, I go, because we haven't seen each other for a long time.
That event, people want to connect.
Yeah. They want to connect and
they
talk.
want to reconnect.
And it's it's like, we sat outside, we talked, JP was back,
talked to a bunch of people from around the country that we
around
haven't
the country.
seen.
And that's, so that's what, there's more of that personal connection that you meet people and business owners and different, and that's why it's so important. But that was the thing. You made that decision like pretty quickly because, hey, we got to get there. I'm not going to mess around. It's 10 hours. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you knew you were there wasn't no doubt that, and there were some people, and it's not a judgment. No. That's fine. Some people are like, I can't get my flight. I'm done. I'm going to go home.
Right.
And that's perfectly fine. I mean, it is what it is. We, on the other hand, we did it the other way. We drove home. She was right. She was right. But she's like, I think the whole day, she's like, I think they're going to cancel our flight. I'm like, if you put that out there, because she's powerful. Like, don't forget, like, in her brain, she's powerful. I'm like, she goes, what should we do? I'm like, what do you mean? There is no option. Like, the flight's probably going to cancel.
Right.
Because you're been saying it's going to cancel for the day. And I know how your brain is, so let's drive. So we ended up driving. It was 10 hours.
So on the opposite of us,
And then you had a perfect, the only one I know.
So listen, but I said, so we were talking to, Dee and Danielle, and I'm like, say, what are we doing? Because I'm like,
yeah.
Because so I would have, let's drive. But they're like, no, we're going to fly. So again, instantly, I'm like, okay, so if we're flying, I'd go, our flight's not getting canceled.
Yeah.
Like we are getting on that flight. I go, somebody's got to get these planes back on time.
Right.
And it's going to be our flight.
Yep.
And legitly, I think our flight was the only one flight out.
I think
and then everything
the only one that got out on time.
I think it's a movie. There's that movie where the world is ending and they have the big ships. Movie I'm talking about 2012 or 2000. Something like that. Anyways, one plane gets out. That's their plane. Everything else is crashing around. This plane
one plane gets out.
One plane gets out, and we get in. So it was good. But
it was good.
But again, it's that, and you got to talk about just the relationships and the extravaganzas and the yes, it's good about being around us, but get around the fire, see what everybody's doing, and that's the biggest thing is when we get there. And I'll just use me as an example. All these people from around the country, they're coming up to me, and they're not saying like, "Hey, how's your Herbalife business?" They're saying, "Hey, man, how's the new team? How's the team?" And so again,
I know you as a coach.
So that expectation too for me is just like, man, we gotta get the team ready to roll because there's more people from
all over
the world watching that have no connection other than us. And
so how's it been so far at Calvert? You're in. I don't know, still a number of weeks probably, maybe just starting in the months.
Yeah,
count down or count up, but
it's going good. It's going great. The relationship with the kids, we're kind of flowing now. So I think we bring a bit different expectation of what we're doing and just, grinding and the accountability of things. And so they're learning that, and then just kind of keeping your word and all that stuff. So. A lot of things and challenges and getting stuff in. We just did a fundraiser, which was good for the team. So like, how can you build this out? And we built them as a team without them knowing that we were building them as a team.
Yeah.
I'll bring those life aspects into it. And
that was awesome. That was so good.
Community's been great. But again, I haven't coached a football game yet. So I always joke like, everybody likes you, but
now till
you coach a great game.
Wait till there's
and that's okay. But you guys sat in the parents meeting, and I'm gonna be the first one to make a mistake, and I'm gonna own up to it. Like that's just life.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm very open and honest with our fans, and no matter who they are, our parents is like. We want to see kids be.
But I like it. I like one thing I was saying is like even like down locker room, like they sweep every night. The seniors sweep every night. Like it's clean down there. Like and I go to like I've been to college, with Bird. I've been to Texas A&M. You look at and I don't know they may have somebody in there, but it's so put together.
Right.
Like, Texas A&M was in Texas A&M. I mean, in the football locker room. Just their stuff is put, like, and maybe the trainers do that. I don't know, but it
feels good when you walk in there.
You walk in, and I guarantee those kids, when they walk in, it's like, because they're in the, you're going to get into 2-a-days. That's going to be the tough time because now they're going to be tired. But guess what? You're sweeping, and you get it done.
So clean it up.
And you clean it up at the end of the night. We put our chairs up. Your shoes are here. Your things it looks good.
I check the toilets to make sure they're flushed. If they're not flushed,
Yeah.
It's teaching the little things, because that's the thing too. Is like
the little things matter.
The little things matter, and teach them that And I know just even the contest. Our son won. Just gonna put it out there, and the people they had a first round draft, and I remember because it does. It's I saw another level of him because they had a draft.
It was another level,
and the kid picked. I don't know how to start.
So basically, we got community cards, discount cards, and they've been selling them for 13 years. And so how do we get this?
It's not that fun.
And it's not that.
Usually they pass out the yellow envelopes, and all the kids are like,
how much money I spent on those for Lewis? I mean, he would sell like 5, and we would buy the rest.
We would buy the rest for our older son.
So again,
sure.
I'm getting different things and just being like, how do we get something? And so right after the end of practice, I go, we got 7 seniors, and I just told one coach, this is what we're going to do. I called the seniors up, and they didn't even know what was happening. I go, draft a sales team.
Draft a sales team.
And then I said, and threw it out there like, all right, whatever team by this benchmark date sells the most, I'm going to buy lunch or dinner for.
Yeah.
And so they did a draft. And so
how did Kel get the first? Did he just win the first pick, or did he?
I just said, I go, who wants the first pick? And he goes, I'll go. So again, being the first, because
he volunteered.
He knew, because he knew he wanted Dante. So I'm going first pick. And he goes, Dante Fabrizio.
That's so funny because Dante was like, I have no idea why he picked me.
And he's like, I don't really know him. I was like, do you know him that well? He's like, no, not really. I know he's a senior,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. So it's like, good. I mean, so we meet with Dante, and you told me the story. He's the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So I go home, and he's kind of nervous anyways. And so.
Well, I called you because I'm like, he's the number 1 pick because they think you're going to buy them all.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They think we're going to buy them all.
And so he goes, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not buying. So I told him, I said, what's our goal? So I sat down with him, and I was like, okay, that's how I am. I'm thinking like, and she's like, don't put too much pressure. I'm like, no, how much? I go, what's your goal? He goes, 20. I go, you're the number 1 draft pick. 20? That was his first thing. And she's like, well, don't put too high. I said, okay. Then, and we kind of had
that was the mom.
The mom was like, well, how about 40? I'm like, so we allowed her go that night.
Yeah.
And that was it. He wakes up at 6 o'clock next morning. And she's like, what are you doing up? He's like, I'm number 1 draft pick.
I got work to do.
I got work to do. So we mapped it out with them.
And I had to say, okay, you can't go knock on doors at 6 a.m. No one's going to buy from you.
So we just, we got a game plan, and he went and did it. Like, he went out. It was neat to see him take that on, and it's because of you, to show something in him that was, maybe not that we couldn't get out of him, that he actually took it on and was like, he'd be like every day, he'd be like, okay.
He had a whole list of people that he wanted to talk to. He kept a list of who bought and how much they bought, who committed, because he sent texts out. If they committed to buy and didn't pay, he had that all. He had it all laid out, and he had a whole system.
So I came home one day, and he's like, okay, I need to go place. Where are we going to go? That's all right. I got to go run some things, I got to go get my car because I had a flat, so I go to Bauman's, and they're going to have my car for a half hour. I said, he goes, well, what should I do? I said, well, go walk around these people. So he sells like 5 within there. And he goes, what else should I do? I said, well, go over to Wolf Creek, which is Jeffrey Drury.
Right.
Mr. Cooper, Ty Cooper, who's a great guy. Jeffrey Drury, if you need your jury, go get it to him. He's great. I said, go see him. He goes, you're not coming with me? I'm like, no, I'm not coming with you.
You're going.
You're the number 1 draft pick. I kept on putting it. I said, not me. I said, go introduce yourself, who you are, what you do. So he goes in there and comes back within like probably 7 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing back? He's like, I go get all those things down there. He goes, I sold them all. I go, what do you mean you sold them all? he goes, well, I sold them all to Mr. Cooper, and then some other guy that was with him, he bought the other half, so I've sold 20 in like 5 minutes. He goes, why am I selling these one at a time?
Yeah.
And that's what his philosophy. Then he goes, I'm gonna start bundling them up in 5s and have people buy them in 5s.
Right.
Yeah.
So he went out and sold his uncle 5. He says, well, how about buying 5?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't know if I need 5. He goes, well, 5 is a good number. And he's like, so he started selling like in 5s. Yeah, I think he sold 5 people in 5s. And he was like, okay, this is so learning some lessons, you know what I mean?
So, well, and so then here's the other part of this lesson. And you were out. I was telling Shayna real quick that, I told these guys, so if we take the average of selling 20 cards, it's 700 cards. And the pain in the butt is, okay, we're going to go out in the community and blitz. So if we have to go blitz and sell, whatever. So I looked at the guys. I said, listen, so on Monday, I go, if we have 700 cards sold, we're not blitzing. You guys, we'll have practice on Wednesday.
And blitz is literally send them out in the community, knock on door to door.
Which I don't think we could, because I think Dante said almost every time.
Like I already bought it from the Fabrizio kid.
So, and again, I don't think the guys knew I saw this happen, right? But again, it goes with keeping your word. So listen, 700 cards on Wednesday. We're done with practice by 6:15 off the field. You guys shower, we eat, we do the money bag, all that good stuff, and you guys are gone early night. See you later.
Yeah.
I go, but 700's got to be sold. So yesterday, they're coming into the weight room, and Coach Howie's like, hey, he's starting to get money, and he's like, I think we're about 20 short. And then morning's like, okay, I think we're about 15 cards short. Our seniors got together, and you can see him huddling. Hey, go get change out of your car. Go get change out of your car. Go get change out of your car. So they're in their head, they're like, we're gonna buy these.
We're gonna get us to 700.
We're gonna get us to 700. Right.
That's awesome.
So and so I watch this happen. And so again, I might get the chills a little bit. Like, just talk about this, that team building, that no matter what, this was the goal. We got to hit the goal, right? Well, let's hold up our end of the bargain. And I told him right before practice, I go, you held up on your end of the bargain. I promise you, you have my word. We are going to be done.
Yeah.
And so we kind of practiced. We went a little bit long on some different things. And I looked at the coach. I go, we have to be done by 6:15.
Yeah.
So no matter where we're at, we're done.
Stopping at 6:15.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. That's awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So I think
It's been a great
I
ride.
think, it's the one thing I like about you and things you do is, like, getting back to a movie called Evan Almighty, and they talk about, you give the opportunity to be leaders.
Right.
Like, you're not doing leadership. You're allowing these kids to become leaders. So you're giving them positions that they could do stuff like that they can look at, think out of the box, become leaders.
Yeah.
For everybody else, which I think is great. Is, you're not forcing leadership on them. You're creating an opportunity
see
to
who
be
steps
leaders,
up.
to be good kids, to be, we talk about that a lot, of, like, the bullying that goes on, you got these, like you hit it on the head, you got these freshmen, if they have a bad experience, they ain't gonna play.
No.
And, they're small, some are small, some are, it's putting them in the position that, these kids are nice, which I think this, like you said, that, kids are giving Dante's rides, and, like, they bond together to help the kids out and ride. And it's a different, man, when I was a freshman, it wasn't, the seniors were like, you didn't talk.
I know,
to same.
Yeah.
No.
It's,
but
again, the time's different. Like, we don't have a ton of kids out, so you gotta, so that you gotta adapt and make that happen. Yeah. So it's good, and our kids have done great, and it's good to see, and so it can, again, learn to put those things in, and that aspect of it, because again, you want to keep them around the program. And so sometimes, you may not, let's just be honest, you may not play on Friday night, but can the program be bigger than you playing, and can you understand their role and the skill that you develop? And so I see so many kids that they just want to be a part of it. Yeah. They want to be a part of the winning program.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of just all those things. And so, but by being a part of it, your role matters.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, in life, your role matters.
Right.
What you do matters.
Right.
And so again, not
and
perfect
that's
at it,
part
but
of
bringing it in.
Bringing the culture, and you're great at that. Creating a culture where everyone wants to be part of that thing. So it doesn't matter necessarily if you're playing or not, or if you're getting the position you want but if you're part of the whole culture and everyone's supporting each other and we are winning.
Right. Yeah.
Whether or not I was on the field or not, we are winning. Mm-hmm. I think that's, like, really cool, and that's definitely one of your strengths for sure.
Yeah, so we're good. It's exciting. There's definitely tradition, so football tradition here. That's why we brought it. There's the expectation to win, and I love that. I thrive off it.
Yeah, they say
D was like,
you don't get to lose a coach. You get to lose, one or two, and that's not even good, acceptable. So,
but that's what D was like. Are you nervous? Yeah, and I'm like, I love that. Like, like, it's just that sharpens my saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
you want that challenge.
But it's got to be. I've learned to try and. You could get down to a rabbit hole where it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but like I think I've learned to where, okay, let's enjoy that process.
Yeah.
Right? Embrace the suck, but also don't take it too far where it's unhealthy.
Right. That's good.
Can't get there.
That's really good.
Okay, anything else?
Dang.
Anything else?
No, I'm excited
It's
for
been a
the
great
season.
journey, and
kinda
it's
been
great
awesome.
having you here. I mean,
appreciate
I like not root. I've always rooted for you, even when we go to Calvert. I'm rooting for you. I ain't rooting for Lakota.
Yeah.
So we always say that. And,
Yeah.
we had his
You
old.
guys are gonna have some different conversations.
I know his old
usually
AD.
weekend.
Yeah, his old AD. Was my nemesis in
Oh, yeah.
from like 7th grade into my senior year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like we hated each other. It was so fun. It's so funny because like how competition, and I think it's different now. You don't have that much hate. Like I feel like these kids are.
Much rivalry.
They're like
No.
they're like friends. Like
Yeah.
we hated everybody.
Right.
It was us against them. Like we didn't like. I mean, there's very few people. A couple guys. Actually, Tree, you don't remember him, but a guy named Tree, and we didn't have fought of Margaretta. Margaretta guys, for some reason, we got along good. Like we'd have great competition, but we're never like Yuckley and I couldn't stand each other. I mean, we would
So
punch each
funny.
other.
Right.
We would get on each other's grill. I mean, like, it was like constant.
Yeah.
And I remember we played an all-star game, and we were like talking. You're like, "Hey, I'm not supposed to like you."
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not supposed to like you. You're not that bad."
You're like, actually, we kind of like each other. We're kind of friends.
The funny thing is Zach Felton, I think, does stuff for the Kairos, right?
Yes.
And so the same thing when we were in high school, like we don't talk to any other team. You don't talk to this person. Well, all of a sudden, so we're doing Kairos, and I think Calvert wanted to introduce it. So they had called out to St. Joe and was like, hey, can we send some of our student leaders to see how you guys do Kairos so we can start doing it?
Yeah.
And they brought it up to us. I'm like, no.
Right.
And why are we bringing Calvert kids?
Right.
Sure. I'm like, why are we But then, they came, and I'm like, because I think Aaron, I believe it was Kaufman.
Oh yeah, long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was kind of one of our guys, and so good friends. I'm like, and again, same thing. I'm like, these guys ain't too bad,
Right.
But it's
Right.
funny how it's changed.
Can change that. That's awesome.
Well,
we're
awesome,
looking forward
Devin.
to a great year.
Devin's been quiet over there, Devin.
Yeah.
I'm captivated.
He's
Good conversation.
usually,
been great.
he's more talking when we just talk, so we throw him in there more. But
Yeah.
No, it's
That was
good.
great.
Good. So good.
So I don't think I got anything else. But I appreciate you being on.
Oh, thank
Looking
you.
forward. We had to, get you on during the season. Maybe have a,
Yeah.
recap it. See how, mid-season.
Mid-season recap. When's the first game?
August 22nd, Mohawk Thursday night.
Ooh.
And it is the 100th year
We're home, right?
of
The
Calvert
100th
football.
year of Calvert football.
That's home. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
100th
awesome.
year,
I
1924.
don't get this
2000.
Thursday game thing, but
What's that?
why do we always do it? We've been starting to do this Thursday game. I don't know.
I don't know. It used to be really cool because you're the only team in the area that was playing on a Thursday night, probably. And 'cause I remember driving to the games because you had nothing to do, so you're
Yeah.
driving. So it puts But I think now, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, there was like only 3 games on a Thursday night. Now I think this year there's like, I want to say 45.
Everybody's
Football
like
games on
doing the
Thursday
same
night.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. Us and Walker close. I know Pandora, Gilboa, and Columbus Grove are doing close. They're 9 miles apart. So
Yeah.
it's good for that. But like I said, I'm not sure. But
We need that W because I don't like Mohawk either.
all right.
No pressure, Mike.
Yeah, no pressure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for each of you. Remember, the world needs your light to shine.
We need your light to shine.
And you
definitely need your light to shine.
Have an
Thank you,
amazing
Mike.
day.
Thank you guys.
Mike,
Yep,
bye-bye.
absolutely.